Fun Home is a graphic memoir by Alison Bechdel. It tells the story of her dysfunctional family and focuses on her relationship with her father. When Alison leaves for college, she starts exploring her own sexuality and discovers that her father, Bruce, may also be gay. And when he dies under peculiar circumstances, Alison uncovers a trail of evidence he left behind. In this video, we'll explore the characters and themes of this book. We'll also discuss instances of Fun Home being challenged or banned, and finally, I will give you my honest opinion of this book. This video is part of my ongoing series about banned graphic novels, so make sure to subscribe for more content like this. Thank you. When I picked up this book, I assumed the title Fun Home referred to the author's childhood home, but it does not. Fun Home is short for Funeral Home, an establishment owned and operated by Alison's grandmother. On the contrary, the home where Alison grew up does not sound fun at all, mostly because of her father's austere presence. There isn't much to like about Bruce. He's described as indifferent to his children, his only passions being home remodeling and gardening. The author writes, quote, "I grew to resent the way my father treated his furniture like children and his children like furniture." A few pages later, she adds, quote, "If we could not criticize my father, showing affection for him was an even dicier venture." Bruce works as a high school English teacher and part-time mortician, which is fitting because Fun Home revolves around a few themes including literature and death. The characters' relationship with literature runs so deep that they often compare real-life events to literary tropes, often taken from French authors like Albert Camus and Marcel Proust. Likewise, the family's relationship with death runs deep. On the one hand, it's practical. The author's grandma owns a funeral home and lives in the same building. Alison's dad embalms bodies in the basement. So children are used to playing around the funeral home. Quote, "My brothers and I had a lot of chores at the Fun Home, but also many interesting opportunities to play." Despite the constant reminder of death, the funeral home is really a fun home. There's room to play and grandma tells engaging stories. Quote, "It was not particularly scary to spend the night at the funeral home proper, even when we had a dead person. This constant encounter with death, this sort of normalization of the life cycle, influences her own rapport with her father's death, which is shrouded in mystery." We learn of Bruce's death early in the book when the author asked this rhetorical question. Quote, "Was he a good father? I want to say at least he stuck around, but of course he did not. It's true that he did not kill himself until I was nearly 20, but his absence resonated retroactively, echoing back through all the time I knew him. Bruce's death leaves his family as skeptical as his life." Quote, "There is no proof actually that my father killed himself. No one knew it wasn't an accident." Her father's death is sometimes compared to Camus' mort imbécile or stupid death. Camus died in a car crash. Bruce was hit by a truck, but Alison suspects he may have done it on purpose. Quote, "Intentional, accidental, it was une mort imbécile any way you look at it." Queer identity and sexual orientation is at the center of this book, which is why it was banned in some instances, as we'll see later in this video. Which is why I decided to release this video during Pride Month. By the way, you can watch all of this year's Pride playlist, which includes many queer movie reviews like Call Me By Your Name and Pink Flamingos, and you can watch last year's playlist, which includes banned book reviews like Flamer and Genderqueer. From the moment her father dies, the author starts to uncover the many mysteries surrounding Bruce's life. She finds documents and photographs bringing her closer to the truth. She learns of multiple instances of Bruce having affairs with men. But Bruce is a more twisted character than we thought. He's not just an unfaithful, closeted man. Quote, "He appeared to be an ideal husband and father, for example. But would an ideal husband and father have sex with teenage boys?" There are several disturbing allegations about Bruce, mostly involving underage boys. For instance, Alison describes a relationship Bruce entertained with one of his 17-year-old students. Roy was also the family's babysitter. We see Bruce offer him alcohol, and after Bruce's death, Alison finds a nude photo of Roy taken by her father during a family trip. And the author wonders why she's not outraged by this revelation. Quote, "In fact, the picture is beautiful, but would I be assessing its aesthetic merits so calmly if it were of a 17-year-old girl? Why am I not properly outraged?" Alison's post-mortem view of her father is ambivalent and informed by her own coming out journey. We'll get to that later. But there's no doubt Bruce knew of his guilt. Quote, "The borders of all the photos are printed August 69, but on the one of Roy, Dad has carefully blotted out the 69 and 2 small bullets on either side with a blue magic marker." She adds, "It's a curious, ineffectual attempt at censorship. Why, for that matter, leave the photo in the envelope at all?" This incident does not seem to be an isolated occurrence. Alison adds, quote, "He would cultivate these young men like orchids." Later in the book, Alison finds a police report accusing her dad of buying alcohol for a 17-year-old boy. This ordeal has real consequences for their family. For one, Bruce had to see a psychiatrist. Alison suggests this may be a preemptive strategy for her dad's defense attorney. Her mom also tells Alison they might have to move out of town. Quote, "Alison, there's a chance we might have to move. Dad has to go to court in a few days, and he might lose his job. He bought a beer for a boy who wasn't old enough." A few pages later, she says, quote, "Dad's hearing was on August 6th. The magistrate stuck strictly to the liquor charge, but a whiff of the sexual aroma of the true offense could be detected in the sentence." There's no doubt that Bruce entertained inappropriate relationships with underage boys, and he never faced the consequences for that. It's even more disturbing to know he was a teacher. This legacy leaves Alison conflicted because, in some aspects, she relates to her father's struggle with his sexuality. In parallel to all these revelations, we're introduced to Alison's own journey of self-discovery. At times, Alison alludes to her and her father being, quote, "inversion of one another. She's a lesbian, he's gay." But their journeys to self-discovery are nothing alike, neither is their report to sexuality. Alison comes to terms with her same-sex attraction while in college. She gets involved with the LGBTQ+ club and meets a woman. Overall, her relationship with her sexuality is healthy, until she comes out to her parents. Quote, "Then a phone call in which she dealt a staggering blow. Your father has had affairs with other men." At that point, Alison had no idea of her father's same-sex attraction. When you think about it, it's unfair for her mother to say that. It puts Alison's coming out in the shadow of her father and her mother's pain. It changes everything. Quote, "I had imagined my confession as an emancipation from my parents, but instead, I was pulled back into their orbit." She adds, quote, "Why had I told them? I hadn't had sex with anyone yet. Conversely, my father had been having sex with men for years and not telling anyone." If you made it this far in the video, please consider subscribing to my channel. I cover many queer topics, mostly during Pride Month. You might enjoy my video about Call Me By Your Name, in which we explore the ethics of a relationship between a 17-year-old and a foreign graduate student. Since its release in 2006, Fun Home was the subject of many challenges and bans in the United States, and they're pretty well documented, so let's take a look at some of the highlights. The year of its release, Fun Home was challenged in Missouri. A resident raised concern that Fun Home and Blankets, 2 graphic novels, were, quote, pornography, and thus they were targeted for removal from the Marshall Public Library. The resident was worried that children could read them. Despite the library's director's defense of the books, they were temporarily taken out of circulation. The following year, the library board voted to return both graphic novels to the shelves. In 2008, a teacher at the University of Utah included Fun Home in an English literary course. One student objected to the book and eventually received an alternative reading. Following this, the student contacted an organization called, quote, No More Pornography, which started an online petition calling for the book's removal from the curriculum. A quick reminder off script that we are talking about university students, like adults. The university's English department chair, Vincent Pecora, defended both the instructor and the book. Despite the petition, the university did not plan to remove the book, rightfully so if you ask me. In 2013, Palmetto Family Council, a conservative organization in South Carolina, contested the use of Fun Home as a required reading for first-year students at the College of Charleston. Again, college. The organization called the book, quote, pornographic. The author pushed back, saying that pornography is designed to cause arousal, which is not the purpose of the book. The controversy made it to the state Congress, where Senator Brad Hutto filibustered for 4 hours to delay the voting process on budget cuts to the summer reading program for incoming freshmen. The College of Charleston offered an alternative to students who found the reading selection offensive. The Republican-led South Carolina House of Representatives eventually cut the summer reading program funding to punish the college for selecting Fun Home. Behind these cuts is Representative Gary Smith, who said that college was, quote, promoting the gay and lesbian lifestyle. Students at the college and free speech advocates were outraged, rightfully so. The state Senate voted to restore funding, but with the condition that the money be used to study the US Constitution and the Federalist Papers instead of Fun Home. What a plot twist. The program must also provide alternative books to students who object to an assignment on moral, cultural, or religious grounds. Governor Nikki Haley at the time approved the budget measure that imposed this penalty on the institution. In 2015, Duke University assigned the book for the incoming class of 2019 to read during the summer. However, some students raised concern about the book on moral and religious grounds. In 2018, some parents challenged Fun Home at Watchog Hills Regional High School, but they failed. The following year, a lawsuit was filed against the school's administrators to force them to remove the book. The lawsuit claims that if the book is not removed, quote, minors will suffer irreparable harm and the New Jersey statutes will be violated. In 2022, the Wentzville School Board in Missouri voted 4-3 to ban Fun Home, despite the review committee voting 8-1 to retain the book in the district's libraries. The ban included other LGBTQ+ books such as All Boys Aren't Blue and The Bluest Eye. Also in 2022, some parents challenged Fun Home in the Rapid City area schools, citing, quote, pornographic content as the reason. They said the presence of Fun Home equated to a, quote, Marxist revolution, no less. Some teachers opposed the ban, but the school board temporarily removed the book anyway. In 2023, the principal of Sheboygan South High School faced backlash from the community for including Fun Home in the school library. As a result, the principal removed Fun Home from the library as well as 2 other LGBTQ+ books, Are You My Mother and Genderqueer. Some people supported the principal's decision, arguing that the books contained sexual content that was inappropriate for a school setting, while others viewed the removal of the book as discriminatory. After reading Fun Home, I'm left feeling ambivalent. It is not the read that I was expecting. It's not uplifting, it's not cheerful, although the book attempts to finish on a high note. This book has been turned into a Broadway musical, and I wonder how Bruce's character is adapted in that play. It's hard for me to imagine Bruce as anything but a villain. In one photo of the musical, Roy appears to be portrayed as an older man. He certainly does not look like a 17-year-old boy. In the book, Bruce is a morally broken character. He's dismissive of his children and sometimes even cruel. Some scenes made me wonder if he was a psychopath. He has no empathy for anyone, not his children, not his students, nobody. In one scene, Bruce lures Alison into a room where he embalms bodies. She's then confronted with a naked, dead man who committed suicide with a gun to his head. It's a horrific scene. It goes against a father's duty to protect their children from such atrocity. It's psychopathic behavior. Bruce is also engaging in predatory behavior toward his students and other underage boys. Nothing can justify this behavior. Being in the closet is not an excuse to abuse anyone. Bruce never shows remorse, nor does he ever face justice. In parallel, his daughter, the author of the book, recognizes her dad's immorality. She never explicitly condemns his actions or attempts to minimize his involvement. Instead, she's forced to face her coming out journey in the shadow of her father's secrets and death, all of which impact her family. One of the central questions of this book is never resolved. Did Bruce commit suicide, or was it an accident? Perhaps it simply cannot be resolved. Who knows what happened? But even in death and after Alison uncovers his private life, it's hard to find any redeeming quality for Bruce. Ultimately, I was left sad for Alison, who never found complete resolve about her childhood. Thanks for watching. Click the top link for my video about genderqueer and click the bottom link for more content. Bye.